Are you ready to unleash your full potential and become unstoppable in your success and leadership?
Welcome to the Unleashed and Unstoppable podcast, where we provide powerful insights and strategies for coaches, corporate leaders, and entrepreneurs. I'm Alexanne Carter.
And I'm Carol Register, and we're certified master neurocoaches who are passionate about helping you overcome your limiting beliefs and optimize your performance.
Each week, we'll be sharing actionable tips and strategies using neuroscience, from interviews with industry experts to solo episodes to help you lead a life of power, purpose, and possibility on your own terms.
Join our community of like-minded individuals. Hit subscribe now, and let's be unleashed and unstoppable together.
Hey, wildly ambitious leader. Welcome back to the Unleashed and Unstoppable podcast. I am so excited for today's episode because we are really diving into why is it that we gain financial independence and then burn through it? Like we give it away, we self-sabotage ourselves, we feel guilty about it, and then we repeat it again, right? Feeling like we have everything, we have nothing, we have everything, we have nothing. We just find ourselves on this continuous repeating Ferris wheel that we just seem to not be able to get out of. And Carol has, this is Carol's work. This is what she loves to do. And she found herself on the path of coaching women that are finding themselves in these patterns because of her own personal experiences. So Carol, why don't you start off and share your journey, share your story, and then we can unpack a little bit of the neuroscience behind what you realized, obviously, when you and I met each other in the room for the very first time, right? And me getting to witness your journey and transformation in what you were unpacking through. I feel like I met you at such a pivotal moment, and we were both at very pivotal moments in our own careers and what we're up to and in our identity and what was happening. So take us back, Carol, to back in the day and what you realized along the way.
Thank you, Alex, for that. It's been such a great partnership, and I'm super thankful for you. My husband and I sold everything to buy a boutique hotel overseas. And we did this because we had sold our business and we had been operating, it's relative, but wealthy compared to many, many people. We met the criteria, if you will. And he passed away immediately when we purchased this hotel. So found myself alone in a foreign country and with a brand new business that I didn't know. I was grieving 30 years of marriage. There was a lot of trauma around it. And overnight, I had to become a financial expert, basically, an expert financial manager. Talk about overwhelming. Talk about, wanting to give up, wanting to run away, wanting to be in fight, flight, and freeze. And, if you're out there, if you can relate. So what happened then was I discovered, alongside Alex Leanne at the same time, neuroscience and the neuroscience process. And as I began to make the shifts, do the reprogramming that came with the neuroscience process, it really fundamentally, bottom line, came down to who am I? Who am I? And so I began to see that there were universal wealth laws called principles of wealth, and that these operate just like the laws of physics do, and that I could start following them because I didn't grow up learning how the wealthy think and operate. Did you? And so
definitely not. No.
Here now we're dealing with things like six figures and success and abundance. And then what do you do with it, right? How do you handle it? Are you miserable and wealthy? Who knows people who are miserable and wealthy? And I began to see that the things that I was dealing with were things that I could help other people with. And I became passionate about helping women to build their wealth and to know what's possible and available at maybe even higher levels than they had thought, that we are meant for more. And this is where it gets exciting, because the number one principle of wealth, Alex Leanne, is that our relationship with money is a reflection of our relationship with ourselves. And that came from Michael Strassner, who we've had on the show. It is the number one principle. It is about our relationship with ourselves. And number two is just like it, money magnifies who we are.
It goes so deep, right? Like it really
Right.
goes so deep. Like when you sit there and just think about that for a second, right? Money magnifies who you are. And you're going to have to repeat the first one because
your relationship with money is a reflection of your relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
So this is why it's about identity.
Yeah. I mean, it goes deep. It really, really, really does go deep. And I mean, we've spoken on the podcast before about like looking around your environment, and there's looking around you and outside of you can give you, or can let you know so much about what's going on like in your brain. But to just really pause on that for a second and think about, you know, what was the relationship to money, or how you grew up. What was the relationship of money that was around you, right? Like, did you grow up in poverty, or did you grow up with a lot of money available to you? And then what were the conversations, right? What did you hear? And what education did you get? Like you said, Kara, right? These are not things, there's not foundational principles that you learn in school, right? Like, honestly, most people that I'm talking to and surrounded by, it's all on YouTube, that learning all of this. And like, and yes, there are some fantastic books out there as well as like some foundational books, but it's not, I feel like it's not necessarily the default necessarily to go out there and go and educate yourself on finances, you know, especially if you're going to school, you're thinking, well, I already got to learn all of this.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is a big stand that I have to change that in terms of like just helping our children and the next generation be raised with those fundamental life skills and knowledge that are really going to serve them when they get older. And I really truly believe, like, when you understand and unpack how money really works for you. I mean, and like Carol, you and I have been friends now, and I mean, even partners on this podcast for like almost, we going on 3 years this year.
Yeah, 3 years for the podcast, but we've known each other for 6 years now.
Yeah. So I've been in Carol's space and like heard her talk into this and taken a lot of what she's taught and integrated into my own
integrated
life.
it. Yeah.
But it still took some time.
Yeah.
Right. Like I could hear Carol go over and over again about something, and it took me a little while to really embody it. And it's because it comes back down to the identity piece, right? It comes back down to doing the inner work. You know, I felt like I was probably just trying to do a quick fix.
Yeah.
But it's so much more deeper than that. And that's why it's so important to really just pause for a second and really ask yourself like some of these deeper questions of like really understanding like what is going on internally, right? Talk about worth, right? Feeling enough. Like, what is the relationship that you're having, and that internal dialogue discussion you're having with yourself related to all of this? So, Carol, I know I mean, this is what you coach into, but I'm curious just for a listener, like, is there a certain prompt or something, or even what supported you? Like what was your process and journey to go a little bit deeper here to start to shift that internal relationship to then impact your external and what you're creating externally for yourself?
I so appreciate this question, because a key component of the work I do inside my exclusive program is identity work. For this very reason, because it's foundational, right? And in my own process, to be honest, it was having a mentor and a guide. It was when you and I heard the same podcast, and that's when I started on the neuroscience journey of, you know, the question on the podcast at that time was, or the statement was, you can remove your limiting beliefs. And I think it was for you can change your brain. And we both took a pause, and I took a pause. I went, wait, what? You can do what? count me in, right? And so that's where I jumped into learning about how to reprogram my mind. And it was with having a mentor and a guide, because if I hadn't done that, I would still be way far behind on the journey. And being able to accelerate the process of my healing, my learning, being able to create the reality that I desire to create, which was to live in abundance. Um, really started with having that mentorship, learning that there's a clear process and that we can move forward with these things. Now, I know you've done this work too, and I know the identity piece is a piece where we do get to go deep, and we start here, and then we continue to learn, or I don't know if you could see my hand. My hand was out of the background, but you could, we start here and we begin to learn, we begin to learn, we begin to learn. And you touched on that because it is about identity, it's something that we do get to be fully immersed in and go deep on and process, because when we are learning about who we are, we have absorbed a lot more than we may realize, not just from the family conversations. Those are a key component, from the culture as well, from the movies and the music we listen to. Did you grow up with the idea that rich people are greedy, or that they're power hungry in a negative way? Watching movies like The Wolf of Wall Street, for example, maybe even your Disney movie or your Hallmark movie that's always presenting the corporation as the bad guy, right? So then we're subconsciously incorporating these messages that, oh, it's not okay to be wealthy. It's not okay to have more. And we're not getting the opposite side of that picture with where can your wealth be in alignment with your values and create a greater impact and a greater good? Where can you be contributing more? Where can you be providing jobs? Where can you be giving services to people? And we end up thinking subconsciously, without awareness, oh, it's not good to be wealthy. It's not okay. It's meant for other people. It's not meant for me. I don't deserve it. Um, I one of mine was, even though I had enough in the bank, I can't afford that. That's not, and I even hear people I know who are wealthy repeating that. And it's not the truth. It's this lie. It's this limiting belief that
Default, right?
we've,
It's the default. Like if you ever
yeah,
heard of like can't afford it, that just becomes the default. The default is I can't
yeah,
afford it. And that one in particular is something I'm always really conscious of like
yeah,
of finding another way without saying I can't afford it, of like, okay, well, okay, is it a priority? Like, do we need it? Like, that's just not what's important right now. Like, just really looking for ways to intercept and stop where it's like I can't afford, to the
yeah,
default of can't afford it, of being consciously aware. And that's again the importance of the consciousness, taking from the subconscious, the automatic, and bring it to the front, the conscious, and just having that awareness piece of like,
yeah,
of do I want to show up as, or do you want to show up as someone where the default is, oh, I can't afford it? What's the identity behind that? Like
right,
someone that chooses to use that saying, how do they see themselves? What's the relationship like with money versus it's just not a priority, right? Because
yeah,
because that I think is the biggest thing that I've noticed when really understanding and unpacking more and more about relationship with money and how money really works, which thanks
yeah,
to Carol, because again, it took me a while to I guess you could say like jump across the other side. Because for a while it was like, I just don't get this. Like you hear have money work for you. And it's like, okay, I kind of get that. Now I really get it. Right. Like
yeah,
I really got it. And there's getting it, like understanding the concept, and now it's becoming the embodying of it, and that's
Yeah.
where it comes in with the identity, because again, you can learn all the things, you can apply all the strategies, and you can still find yourself on this repeated cycle because of the inner place, the inner work. And I know on our next episode we're going to go a little bit deeper with this, right? But
Yeah.
that first piece is the identity, and it's what I want to lean into is that it's probably going to feel uncomfortable, because if you have operated from a certain identity from all this time, like I'm just thinking for you, Carol, right? Like
Mhm.
you were in a partnership, you were a
Yeah.
mom, like you were in a
Yeah.
partnered business owner, and now all of a sudden you are sole proprietor,
Yeah.
right? Not single mom,
Yeah. Yeah.
CEO, and a lot of the, you end up having all the hats you already had, plus
Yeah.
now all the hats your husband had. I
Mm.
mean, that is a massive
Yeah.
shift. And our brain always wants to go to safety. So the brain's automatic is going to go to what it knows, and
Yeah.
to just do the work through working through all of that and really being able to like own and be now
Yeah.
this new version of yourself after so many years of being this version, right?
It's so true. I mean, and we didn't have a family office. I ended up putting one together without even realizing at the time what that was. And but it is truly about being, and this is one of the key things that I take my clients through in my program. We do some very specific visioning exercises where they're doing certain things that help them to embody who they are at the level, at their highest level. It's about empowerment. It's about, you being able to set the goals for yourself. And specifically, I work with women who make six figures and are stuck getting to seven, because those roadblocks hit us along the way where, and we don't know why. We don't know what has happened to keep us from moving to that next level. Well, those limiting beliefs are still operating unawares, or maybe some of the ones that we've rewired, we've got a new set. But bottom line, foundationally, we talk a lot about identity because that's the foundation that you're building on. You can, um, be in the rewiring process, but still be having a lot of self-doubt about your worthiness, your value, whether you're meant to have this, why, what's your why. And these are where we go super deep on the journey to help you to see that who you are is what enables you to handle what you want to create in the world. And maybe handle is not the right word, but to be able to flourish in it, to be
Yeah.
able to have your cake and eat it too, to be able to do it with the satisfaction
And the
and the
confidence.
fulfillment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
having and the confidence
and the
too, like really
confidence.
embodying, right? That
Yeah.
person. Yeah. So if you are ready to get started, I mean, there's two ways I would say that you can get started with this. One, Carol has her program that is open. So reach out and connect with her. If you're, wanting to just, I guess, dip your toe in, go and grab Carol's wealth activation, because it really does start to support you in getting through that work. And then I would say connect with Carol and see if that you're the right fit for her program, right?
Yeah.
Because I know Carol's looking for a very sort of specific type of woman that she's supporting. But to reach out to her, connect with her, and of course, continue to listen to the episode and listen to our next episode. But really, I invite you to take yourself on with this, right? Like,
Yeah.
really take yourself on, because it's a process, it's a journey. I mean, like you said, Carol, you and I met over 6 years ago. This is something that I've been working on and impacting, and just really choosing to immerse, like I know
Yeah.
for me where the biggest shifts happens when I just chose to immerse myself into doing the specific work around the wealth, right? Because
Mhm.
You can do the identity work about being a CEO of a business. You can do the work of being, the identity work of being a mom. And we talked a couple weeks ago with Sari too about the identity work of like having, sexy mom bod, right? But this is like looking at the financial piece and the wealth piece, which I know, Carol, you talk on not just wealth as money, but many other things. But there's a financial component that really, when you really choose to hone in, right? Last episode, what you focus on grows, right? You hone in on this, it's going to make the biggest impact and the greatest difference on supporting you and ending those cycles, ending the guilt. So you, as you say, confidently show up with the decision making, right? Decide in advance. Again, last episode we talked about this, and to just be free, like not having the weight on you on how you show up with your decisions and how you navigate your wealth. Like you're confident in it. You own it. You said it earlier, Carol. Have your cake and eat it too. So yeah, grab the wealth activation, connect with Carol to see if you're a good fit for her program. And then, of course, as always, if you're looking to increase your visibility and create a greater impact with what you're up to in the world, let's connect and we can talk about how we can support you with your digital presence, with your website, your Google business, and your YouTube. So
that's right. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to helping you on your wealth journey, taking you to where you want to go and where you absolutely deserve. Okay. Talk to you soon. Ciao for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Unleashed Unstoppable podcast with your hosts, Alexandra Carter and Carol Register.
If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review and subscribe.
That's all for this episode, Wildly Ambitious Leaders. See you next week.